Black ice and sub-zero temperatures are making travel hazardous today as much of the country goes back to work and schools reopen after the Christmas break. Several parts of the country are waking up to a covering of snow and there's a severe weather warning in the south east of England. Jonathan Swain is in Guildford in Surrey. Jonathan.
Morning, Penny. As you say, first day back at work and at school for most people, and this is what we're waking up to. All very festive, isn't it? Shame we didn't do this 10 or so days ago. We've had a lovely white Christmas. Most parts of England, they're waking up to a light dusting of snow this morning. It's settled on the cars, as you can see, also on the pavements and on the side roads. And if you're taking your little ones to school, I'm sure it's going to be lots of slipping and sliding as they walk to school in an hour or so's time. Now, it certainly didn't snow over Christmas, but it's certainly very cold, wasn't it? I'm sure when we're going out for those long walks. And actually in the longest cold snap that we've had for more than a decade. It was -9 in some parts of Oxfordshire over the weekend, though we've still got some way to go to beat the record of -27. That was back in 1995 in Sutherland in Scotland. Well, this cold snap is expected to last until the end of the week, although the snow and the ice that surrounds much of the country this morning, though, is expected to cause some travel disruption. And Elaine Wilcox is at the RAC Travel Centre in West Midlands for us this morning with all the latest travel news. Morning, Elaine.
Yes, good morning, Johnny. As Britain gets back to work today, as you say, the freezing temperatures could cause you problems going into work this morning. Ice skidded on the roads, untreated roads twice this morning, so please take care. But as you can see, the motorways moving normally this morning. The M6 here at Walsall, no real problems to report. The M5, which had major problems over the weekend, that has reopened. But the RAC, who are monitoring the situation for us this morning, are predicting a 25% increase in breakdowns today. That's mainly because of the cold weather, flat batteries and also cost cutting, people cutting back on services, so that could cause you problems. But there are problems on the trains, the West Coast main line. Engineers worked through the night to repair the problems at Watford Junction, but London Midland services are running okay, we're told, but there are problems between Euston and Birmingham on the West Coast line, so check before you travel. 3 million of us are not expected to make it into work today because we simply can't face it, or problems on the roads. Back to you.
Elaine, thank you. Aid agencies are warning of grave shortages of food and water in Gaza as Israel steps up its ground offensive in the region. At least 500 people are now known to have died as Israeli fighters attempt to cut off Gaza City. Richard Gaisford has just sent this report from the border town of Sderot in Israel.
We've just heard 7 or 8 very loud explosions in a row coming from the Gaza Strip, punctuated by bursts of automatic machine gun fire. You may also be able to hear a droning noise in the background. That's the Israeli drone that's up there trying to spot the rocket launch sites that will then call in artillery fire from either the land or the sea and the air to try and destroy those rocket launch sites. The Israelis going in very heavily today. There may be a lot of talk of peace. President Sarkozy arrives in Egypt a little later to talk with Hamas and the Egyptians. He'll then come to Israel and the Palestinian territories to see what can be done here. But there's no sign of a ceasefire. The Israelis say they are going to go in hard to try and remove the threat to southern Israel. You may be able to hear those explosions going off in the background. It must be incredibly difficult for the people in Gaza, which is that strip of land just behind me. 1.5 million of them crowded into this 25-mile-long strip. The Israelis are telling them to get out, but they've got absolutely nowhere to go. The borders are sealed and the casualty figures keep rising. More than 500 now. 512, we're told, people have died. Palestinians have died there. More than 2,000 now injured. And there really is a humanitarian crisis that needs to be sorted out. And that is what President Sarkozy and the EU mission will attempt to try and do today.
Richard Gaisford there. Well, as he said, diplomatic efforts to end the crisis are continuing in New York, where Arab foreign ministers will lobby the UN Security Council to push for a ceasefire. Gaza will also be top of the agenda in Washington when President-elect Barack Obama meets congressional leaders today for the first time since being voted in. Sue Jameson reports from Washington.
It's been said that Barack Obama is inheriting the in-tray from hell with the disintegrating economy and now, of course, the crisis in the Middle East. So far, the president-elect has remained silent, with his aides saying, of course, there can be only one president at a time. But there's also a lot of expectation that Barack Obama may be a little more even-handed when it comes to dealing with the Middle East. There's not a lot of optimism right now that these meetings taking place at the UN over the next couple of days will yield very much in moving towards towards a truce. But of course, the White House under George Bush has been placing the blame for the crisis very firmly on Hamas. Now, of course, there may well be some sort of truce or ceasefire by January the 20th when the new president takes over, but there won't be a solution. And of course, the Middle East has haunted many a president before Barack Obama. It is going to be one of the most pressing things he has to do in those first months of his presidency.
Sue Jameson. Cheryl Cole has revealed that she struggles to control her weight. The X Factor judge has told Vogue magazine there are some days when she feels fat and claims she doesn't like her legs. She also admits to going on the Atkins diet when she reached 9.5 stone during her first year in Girls Aloud. On the website this morning, find out how to beat New Year's stress. We reveal the myths surrounding detox products. Find out more about getting motivated for 2009, all that and more, GM.TV. And finally, it's supposed to be one of the most relaxing sports to play, but scientists are warning golfers that 18 holes could actually cause more harm than good. The British Medical Journal claims modern titanium clubs create a sonic boom when they connect with the ball. And the risk to the hearing is so great, the doctors are advising golfers to wear earplugs while taking a tee shot. You could always skip the golf and head straight for the clubhouse, of course. 6 minutes past 7, here's what's happening where you are.